Shockwaves are rippling across continents tonight after a dramatic U.S. military operation in Venezuela led to the capture of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife. The unprecedented move has triggered sharply divided reactions. Celebrations, condemnation, and street protests from Latin America to Europe. Across the United States and Latin America, many Venezuelan immigrants poured onto the streets, cheering what they see as the end of authoritarian rule. But others are furious, condemning the U.S. action as foreign intervention and a violation of Venezuela's sovereignty. Protests erupted in cities across Latin America and Europe as demonstrators clashed over the future of Venezuela. Mexico. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the U.S. operation, calling instead for a multilateral solution to the crisis. Despite her criticism, Sheinbaum reiterated Mexico's desire to maintain good relations with Washington after President Donald Trump said something has to be done.
This morning, together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we issued a statement on behalf of the government of Mexico. We uphold the Estrada Doctrine and what our country's foreign policy represents, as established in the Constitution, which opposes interventions and supports the peaceful resolution of any conflict. Similarly, Article 2 of the United Nations Charter clearly states that there should be no military intervention, but rather a multilateral solution within the framework of the United Nations. That is our position. That is why we condemn this intervention in Venezuela. We have a very good relationship with the United States in terms of security and other matters. There is communication. There is an understanding on security issues that has been established in several meetings. There was a first meeting attended by Secretary Marco Rubio in Mexico, and then several other meetings have taken place. So, as we have always said, collaboration and coordination, but not subordination.
Does Mexico's relationship with Venezuela continue? How, now that the United States is going to administer the government?
Well, we are going to review it. I think it needs to be reviewed with the government team, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and obviously within the constitutional framework of our country. That is our statement for now, and we will remain attentive and continue to keep you informed.
In Brazil, demonstrators in Brasilia and Sao Paulo protested U.S. attacks on Venezuela and the seizure of Nicolás Maduro.
And what happened was an unacceptable act of aggression. And literally everyone quite clearly knows that the primary issue is crude oil.
It was an act, indeed, a truly unjust, deeply immoral, and utterly illegal action, one that is most certainly deserving of despicable cowards. It's a deception, because what Trump wants are the riches of the place, it's the oil, and in the future it could be Brazil's oil.
In France, French left-wing groups rallied against the U.S. military operation.
Nicolás Maduro has ordered how unpleasant it is to see that France does not speak out, that the President of the French Republic delegates to his pitiful Minister of Foreign Affairs. Vague words that name neither those responsible nor the guilty parties. Nor do they say who should be supported. Does France have any other option on the international stage? Other than being totally radically independent, that is non-aligned? Why this abasement before the empire? Why this European civility that once again was expressed through the words of the European Commissioner for Foreign Affairs? It is unacceptable. We must not mince words. We demand the immediate release and return of Nicolás Maduro free to Venezuela. So, of course, his wife, who in this story is a kind of trophy captured by the empire to impress its adversaries.
Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron says that 2024 presidential candidate Edmundo González Urrutia should lead a peaceful transition in Venezuela, while adding its people can only rejoice at the removal by the U.S. of President Nicolás Maduro. In Germany's Berlin, protesters termed U.S. President Donald Trump as a fascist as they denounced the U.S. strikes, which also killed several civilians.
Tonight, or rather early this morning, when the American forces launched their surprise attack on Venezuela at 2 in the early morning hours, they tragically killed a couple of innocent civilians, mistakenly believing they were going to completely destroy the nation's military power. They erroneously assumed it would be a swift and decisive operation to forcefully dethrone the current leader, Nicolás Maduro, from his position of authority. And in Caracas, all they managed to do was set off a bomb, nothing more. There they killed several civilians who were in their beds, just back from a party, and the surprise was that the bomb fell right on top of them. Mrs. Machado plays absolutely no significant role in our current politics, fortunately. That particular lady is truly the very nest of fascism in Latin America, together with Milei, or with Pinochet, or with all those various dictators or supposedly democratic presidents who have systematically destroyed their own respective countries. I am here because the imperialism of the United States and the fascist Trump have attacked Venezuela, and it is a truly egregious and utterly fascist attack. This aggressive action is specifically designed to secure the economic and political interests of the United States, and that in general is a policy that increases the danger for the third world. And that's why I'm here. I don't know, I think
that I myself understand the cause of this danger of war and in fact this imperialist prophecy. And that's why I'm against it. I don't dare make any imperialist or nationalist statement just to look at my country and think that we need to have an international society. And that's why I dare to be here. What happens in the northern regions of Spain, that particular situation doesn't effectively work. What we are doing with the indigenous Pacific people and also the Kurdish people, all of those distinct situations ultimately have precisely the same underlying cause.
Venezuelans simply have to clearly explain who they truly want to be governed by, or indeed who they do not wish to be governed by. It is important to remember that there is also a form of capitalism present in Venezuela, and this is not solely about the workers or the working class. That's why they have to clarify this, just like in Ukraine, the workers have to clarify this, or in Russia or anywhere else. And not this collaboration between capitalist interests which have now moved closer to the borders. We have been in a crisis since 2018.
Hundreds marched to the U.S. Embassy in Athens, protesting what they described as a military strike and foreign aggression.
The presidency of the nation is the presidency of the nation. We are here to state things as they are, so that people can, so that they can have one day and another as independent countries with self-sufficiency and with democracy. Unfortunately, the attack from NEPA presents us with a new dogma. Monroe, we say that the Greek people are on the right side of history.
Time has come together with imperialism. What more can we say? Yet another American intervention on the planet.
In Buenos Aires, the divide was stark. Thousands of Venezuelans celebrated at the obelisk, while left-wing groups protested outside the U.S. Embassy.
As if nothing happened, and now they say they're going to govern until the country is stabilized. They lie. They want the common goods. Just as they do in the Middle East, they're doing it in Latin America. That's why we have to say, Yankees out of Venezuela, out of the Caribbean, and out of all Latin America. And of course, the organization. In Venezuela, true freedom and democracy will only be achieved when it is the workers and the people who conquer them. When they rise up and put an end to the completely authoritarian regime, but far from imperialist.
In Bogotá's Plaza de Bolívar, Venezuelans celebrated Maduro's capture.
Well, we are very clear that things are not going to happen, let's say, right away. Everything will move slowly, little by little, but we have faith and conviction that truly God will give us the strength to keep moving forward and to lift up our own country as we have always done as Venezuelans.
Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel called on Latin America to close ranks against Washington.
Close ranks, peoples of America, let us not allow the giant with 7 tongues to pass. And we must also recognize that there are Cuban traitors without a homeland in certain parts of the world, threatening that Venezuela will be first and Cuba next. Let them not be mistaken. You do not play with the homeland.
No fear. We are not afraid. What we are is prepared to face whatever is necessary. With Venezuela, with Cuba, and with all the countries we can support and help.
Genocidal, arbitrary violation of international law by the United States government against the brotherly people of Venezuela, whose only aim is to seize their resources.
Anti-imperialist. And we can only tell our Venezuelan brothers and sisters that we are here with them, that we will not abandon them, that there is strength, and that we will overcome together.
In Quito and Guayaquil, Venezuelans celebrated the ouster of Maduro, while others denounced what they called an illegal intervention.
In your country?
Yes, of course. Everyone is doing very well. People in Venezuela are quiet, they are calm, they are at home, but they are joyfully singing our anthem, Gloria al Bravo Pueblo, because that's how we achieved it after 26 years of struggle.
How long exactly have you been here in this very spot?
And thank God the entire international community truly understood that we, the Venezuelan people, were bravely fighting against ruthless criminals who commit egregious crimes against humanity. Their oppressive system of absolute control was based on inflicting profound hunger, relentless persecution, and systematic oppression upon the innocent Venezuelan people.
Venezuelans in Panama took to the streets, celebrating Maduro's capture and the bombing of military targets in Caracas.
Something very, very happy, because we are glad, because look, this is something many Venezuelans have been waiting for through.
This, we are fine. Thanks to everyone who is standing on the right side of history, and long live Venezuela and the whole world, because no human being deserves to live through this, much less for so long. Thank you.
Super happy.
Excited, excited, joyful, happy, crying, can't stop crying, super happy. At last we are free.
This is truly the absolutely best news of my life.
In Santiago, thousands waved Venezuelan flags, many in national colors, celebrating what they hope is a return home.
Excellent. I haven't slept since 4 in the morning when I got the news that finally we're going to have a free country, that finally we'll be able to return home to our families. I've been here in Chile for 8 years. I still haven't been able to travel to my country.
But I hope that nothing less. After 65 years of my life, freedom. I come from a town that has had everything, wealth, everything. And they manipulate the people so that the people live badly. Thank God they took the man away, and there are still people left to be taken. And for us, this is such a huge emotion that it clouds our minds. Maduro is behind bars today. Today we know that Venezuela is going to be free.
From jubilation to outrage, the U.S. operation in Venezuela has ignited a global storm, revealing a deeply divided world over power, sovereignty, and the future of Latin America.